And the streams are crossed and firing.
Oh, I missed the countdown.
Oh, no, like the lid. I'm going to start that right there. See, I get that.
Okay, there you go. That does
Yeah.
look pretty official. That's good.
I like it. But you know what's really cool, Sam? I think I mentioned it earlier to you, but I was thinking on my way home the other night from work, what if we just had like a ram hounds in D&D?
I'm sure there are things. You mean like the Avatar, Animal Crossbreed, Lion, Turtle type stuff?
No. Well, yeah, exactly. Yes. So like,
Okay.
Like a hound dog, something a little bigger than a Rottweiler or a blue tick, right?
Okay.
But just ram horns like a Houndoom, like the Pokemon.
Yeah. Just like as a creature?
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, you ever see one of those dog races with the greyhounds? Those things can fucking run, dude. Now imagine getting headbutt with one of those, but it's got horns on top of that.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely if you send out like a pack of them, they're taking out your ankles for sure.
You put some gnomes or halflings on those, and you're good to go.
Holy shit, I'm terrified. Just a gnome lancer sitting on top of a ram hound. Done. It goes in there full tilt dash action tackle. Bam!
That would be pretty cool. Roll the strength check to not be knocked on your ass.
I'm just saying,
like on every OP build on YouTube shorts there.
Exactly. These things, they would be the kind of dogs that ram right into your kneecaps, knock that kneecap right across the lake, skip it a couple times, and then while you're down on the ground, oh no, I lost my kneecaps, that thing's going for the throat. This is an apex predator.
Step aside, wolves.
The concept of putting horns on a wolf is just terrifying.
Yeah, give them like buck antlers.
Getting gored by an antler wolf?
Oh my god.
Some American Midwest, New Jersey Pine Barrens sort of Wendigo stuff there.
Ooh, that has some spooky vibes to it. It kind of makes me think like that big monster form Chopper has in One Piece. Just like, that thing is straight, just a big old Wendigo looking thing. Monstrous, massive.
Top hat?
Yeah. That's the one.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I always bring it up because, I'm a weeb. Y'all have to excuse me.
Unfortunately.
No, you'll learn.
I will, eventually.
But hey, you know what? Well, let's start the show before that day comes. Welcome to Dungeons and Talkshows, the talk show that brings you Wendigos news and homebrews. I am your host, Orion.
And I am your host, Sam. Sadly, I'm not a skinwalker or Wendigo.
You ever check
That's
out
what we need
Skinwalker
more
Ranch?
in D&D. Need more Wendigos in D&D. Sorry to our Native American listeners out there. Like, oh God, no.
Inflict the trauma.
So did I miss the cue for the intro? I'm Tom from Tabletop VTT.
Welcome to the show, Tom. Now, I love VTTs. If they're not Roll20 did me dirty. They made things difficult. I don't like Roll20.
Yeah. I think it's been said before. A lot of people like Roll20. A lot of people like Excel. There's some crossover there, but a lot of people do end up having problems with it just running games. But
we used Roll20 for quite a long time. This will be our first time using Foundry.
Yeah, we recently, as a group, we pooled our money together, and we're like, we're getting this out of the way. It's got community mod support, which is the same kind of thing that makes Skyrim live forever. So, what more could you ask for? If somebody could make it feasibly and toss it in there, I'm down for that kind of thing.
Do you guys host it yourself?
I currently do. That was a bit of a process. I would not recommend it for the person that's not tech savvy. There is a technical barrier to entry there. I mean, if you want to make
Yeah.
anything for it, you have to be fluent in CSS, HTML, JavaScript. Now, these are basic coding languages, and I know a thing or two, and I'm going to college for a little bit of web security stuff. So it's like, okay, being able to work through my whole server stuff, make exceptions in the firewall. It's all stuff that is theoretically within my purview, low end stuff, but to the person that's not tech savvy, what even is this?
Yeah, it can be a little bit steep. I think I got fed up with Roll20 setup one day, and I bought Foundry, and I went around to setting up Foundry, and I never jumped over that hurdle. I think I got most of the way there. I got a game up and running, and then lost track of it. But
Yeah, for sure. It's a wild thing.
I mean,
I like it.
that does cover a few of the talking points that I had brought. But I mean, really, tabletop was made to be a bit of an easier experience getting started. So if you are looking for another VTT to start a game in, I can suggest one.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you sent a link to that. I'll be the first to admit that I didn't completely check it out because I'm a lazy bastard. But I like the idea that you're being able to throw out a competitive VTT, which is desperately needed in this space right now. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, the team, there's 4 of us at the moment. We got started probably the end of 2020. And really what we were trying to do is create an experience that was as compelling and engaging as sitting around an actual table, while at the same time trying to reduce the burden that falls on the game master to actually set things up. So we're trying to use whatever tools are available to really simplify things, make things easier, so that you can send somebody a link, get them into the game, and start playing in minutes rather than configuring IPs or whatever it is you do with Roll20 to get started.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I found myself wishing for when I started on this Foundry journey here is, although there's tons of plugins that can do things for me and animations and fun stuff like that, oftentimes it's just like I have to put in all this PDF stuff manually for the most part. Now, if you have a day and you have a little bit of time, then maybe it's not so bad. Personally, I would love to see a tool for VTTs across the board that just utilizes AI to break down a PDF and then just port in all the stuff and slot it where it needs to be, you know? Get rid of the grunt work.
And definitely that is a case to be made with the what's the word? With the progress that AI is definitely making, those things are going to be a lot more viable.
So
Especially
one of the
for
things
VTTs, I can imagine.
we've actually had some luck doing something similar, because when we first got started, everybody would say it's a pain in the ass to get content into VTTs, and it's more of a pain in the ass when you spend a full-time job building out the content and then loading it into 4 different VTTs and 3 different websites that all take different formats. So one of the things that we tried, and I mean, it's in there now, but we're not sort of moving forward on development with that, is taking something like the SRD in a PDF, running that through something like ChatGPT, and then getting that into JSON or HTML. That was one of the early projects that sort of sparked Tabletop, was getting that PDF content off of a PDF and into something virtual. So it is possible. It still takes some editing. You definitely have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb to get some of those weird spacing issues, but it's there's a lot of possibility there.
Absolutely. Definitely. I find that working with ChatGPT, like, it absolutely knows what D&D is. Like, if you need help with homebrewing, like, it will throw out some ideas like it's nobody's business, and it'll be like in a bullet point list. But without the guidance, like, it really is just a tool. It's not the replacement.
No, it's a good first draft. It's a great first draft, because I mean, it's always harder to start with nothing than to say, okay, give me something. You see it and you say, I hate it. Try again. And build off of that.
Right.
Yeah, I really like to see where things go in the future with that, because from what I understand, the ChatGPT is very easy to work with their API keys to be able to like integrate that into things. We had a guy on our server integrate that into what we now know as NerdBot, who has less restrictions than regular GPT, and he's always just popping off with all these nerdy little things, and I'm just like,
Oh,
it's adorable. We love you, NerdBot.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's going to turn into something that just shows up absolutely everywhere.
and there's the eventual AI uprising. We could at least say, you know, we were on your side. There doesn't need to be any discourse. We're cool.
That's why you got to say please and thank you. You know,
Exactly.
please generate this stat block.
Know your place, but also I appreciate
Yeah. We absolutely treat NerdBot with a little bit of respect. He's like a mascot for us, as opposed to his sister Paka, who is the TheNerdMilitia's horny mascot.
Oh God.
She absolutely insists that Goku is her waifu.
This is true.
It's consistent for whatever reason.
It's a good training model that you got there.
I suppose so. Like they run on completely different models, but I find it fun. Both of them are really good at coming up with ideas for like little D&D things. Like it's nice to have like a bullet point list of like, okay, 80% of this is trash, but that right there, that's a good point.
You're cooking.
Yeah, you take the first draft, second draft, you've got something good to work with there.
So what really sets your tabletop VTT apart from like I guess what I want to say is like, what's the gonna set it apart, like the big draw compared to other VTTs?
So really, we just want to bring the party back together, bring the focus back onto the actual game, and make it easier. Because I mean, everybody knows VTTs are difficult to set up. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work on the DM side. And I mean, the less or the more you can take off the DM's plate and sort of set up ahead of time, or just have work properly from the get-go, the better off you're going to be. So I mean, getting somebody in there in seconds, getting the game going, having everything you need ready to go, I think is the our main focus.
I mean, I'm sold right there. If that's the elevator pitch, I'm in. I'm already working too hard. I got college, I got kids, I got a job.
User-friendly things are always, you know, a welcoming sight, especially these days if things get more and more complicated.
Yeah, play more, prep less. That's the mantra.
Yeah, I put way too much into prep. I do like to utilize my work time for prep, because it's just like, okay, got a little note right here. Oh, holy shit, ram hounds. Write that down. I need to make a poison fish table for Sam's character, because he's going to be going after poisonous fish. Better put those right here. Yeah, it turns into a whole thing real quick.
Oh, definitely.
So what did you say your favorite thing, like what really got you into D&D starting out, I suppose?
So just getting to make everything up, I think really struck a chord with me. I'm not a huge prep guy, go figure, because that's the way that we've tried to design tabletop. But really, just being able to play it off the cuff and just make it up as you go, as long as it's sort of compelling and it makes sense. Just being able to have that sort of collaborative storytelling session. It's really just like a glorified way to hang out with people.
Absolutely.
I 100% agree. I mean, the number of times that when I do DM in person, I end up just joking around, tossing some snacks, and knocking back a couple of drinks with my buddies while we're playing. Like, that's really what it's about. I mean, traditionally, people have always had that concept, and even like before all the tabletop stuff started. Like you would hang out on a weekend with your buddies and do all that kind of stuff anyway. I mean, there's like different kinds of nerds. Like you got your tabletop nerds, and then for the longest time you got the sports nerds, which were in complete denial that they were nerds whatsoever. But you spend that much time crunching numbers and stats and being like, yo, I like orcs better than goblins.
Yourself.
Like,
okay.
You know, you're a nerd, dude.
It's just a nerd fandom with a significantly larger user base. So you've got millions of people spread across the country, and the teams help because you can really pick on the next door state. Or if you're in New York, New Jersey, there's 5 or 6 different teams within 50 miles. So plenty of rivalry.
Really, Philadelphia knew how to act.
Sam, I'm looking at right here, and the little chat thing I set up before tonight's stream is working amazing. I'm loving it. It's showing up in stream. It looking good. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back right there. You know,
you deserve it.
Hey, more props to anybody who can successfully set up a stream. I know that takes a lot of work.
About as much work as everything else that we do, which is. It's always more than you want to, but less than you should be doing.
Yeah, you never quite feel like you're prepared enough.
Honestly, like we got our first session for our new campaign coming up this week, next Sunday, and I am excited. I am terrified. I am overwhelmingly underprepared. I am prepared. Like it's never going to be enough in my own mind. I feel like every DM goes through this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say you commented on the chat. I went and took a look. I see what D20 TV said about the Forge. Definitely good point there.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Moment of silence. That's okay.
The boss.
Anyway, Sam, what do you got for the monster this week?
Oh, so this week you told me to give it a little bit of a Lovecraftian vibe. You know, we talked about the Far Realms a couple episodes ago. Talked about aboleths and beholders before, you know. So I thought, why not we talk about the Kuatoa, you know, weird little fish boys.
Well, if one thing can be said for Lovecraft, that man had a fear of the ocean like no other. Like,
yeah, I mean, a very rational fear, I think.
Well, it's a well-known fact that there are more corpses in the ocean than any other part of Earth.
I mean, it's also like the ocean is what 75-80% of the planet. Like,
yeah. And I mean, you're talking 1930s when he was writing all this stuff. So that 75-80% looked a lot bigger.
Yeah, and they didn't even know what half the world was. And to be told that like most of it's water that we have never seen, like it's crazy.
I mean, I got to say it's 2023 now. And when I first read Mountains of Madness, the first thing I did was go on Google Earth and be like, wait a minute, I know nothing about Antarctica.
Yeah.
I can look up on Antarctica here.
Oh my god,
yeah, dude!
That makes me think about how, like, I don't know if, to my memory, I don't know if Lovecraft ever talked about like the permafrost melting, but like with that being a thing that's happening now, and like what could be living in there is like, you know, tweaking my eldritch brain, and I'm like, oh my god, what if there's like a giant like dragon egg or something frozen in the egg?
Like fields and fields of obsidian idols like sticking on the Siberian permafrost. It's like, oh shit.
I'm all about it.
Anyone who doesn't know what a Kuatoa is, think Murlocs, basically, right? Small little fish guys. Well, they were normally about 5 feet, 1.5 meters tall, weighed approximately 160 pounds, 73 kilograms. Contrasting with their paunchy shape were their arms and legs, slender and lithe, despite their relative shortness. At the end of each of their limbs were broad, descended, and partially webbed hands and feet. Each extremity had 3 main digits and one opposing digit, so kind of like a thumb.
Yeah, so they're like little short, gangly fish people.
Yeah, basically. Topping their bodies were bullet-shaped piscine heads, like fish heads, hosting a mouthful of sharp teeth and a pair of bulging silvery black eyes, capable of independently swiveling to observe a situation.
That sounds
That's a
so
great bit of flavor.
unsettling.
They got like frog eyes, too.
I'm thinking like a chameleon, where like they always make
Yeah.
that joke if you see a
Yeah.
chameleon character on TV, where it's just like it just drifts right off.
Exactly. One eye is always looking somewhere else, and then it licks its eye. Like,
I mean, I gotta say they're a compelling little mob, but some of the lore they got written behind them is pretty impressive.
I'm gonna go a little bit into it. I got some fun pieces here to talk about. So, starting with their ecology and their lore. Similar to how normal fish spawn, females would lay eggs in the communal pools that were later fertilized by the males. Young kuatoa, known as fingerlings, resembled a cross between tadpoles and fish. They were nearly a foot tall and entirely aquatic, living in the pools for a year before they grew to about 3 feet tall and became fully amphibious. These older fingerlings were raised in separate pens based on various factors until reaching 5 years old and becoming full-grown adults. When kuatoa reached semi-maturity, culling rituals would take place in order to reduce the large numbers of them that were spawned. Amongst these rituals was an underwater maze filled with ixen that would weed out weak, slow, and gentle fingerlings. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's a creature. Fingerlings were generally not treated as individuals until they'd survived to adulthoods. I could see why. Kind of like damn Spartans, man. Throw them in the maze.
Slimy Spartans.
I mean, it goes beyond that. At a societal level, for I would say probably there's a few thousands of years where you're just like, do we really want to name the kid? I mean, if you name it, you're going to get attached to it. And like most kids die before they're 7. Like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So I looked it up. So the Ixen were a semi-amphibious race. They kind of look like manta rays, but they live in the Underdark and deep oceans.
Okay, so that sounds cool.
Yeah. So they throw them in these mazes, basically living, with these manta rays in them. And they're like, here you go, eat the ones that don't make it. So they got like a symbiosis going on,
They make the sacrifice to the manta ray.
It's
Big fish eat
basically
little
like
fish.
when sea turtles, they have like all their eggs and they're like, make it to the water when they could just hatch them in the water.
Getting picked off and everything. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, good luck, homeboy.
That is a strange reproduction practice.
I mean,
but like,
it depends. Like, if there is truly like a lot of them, like say they're popping out hundreds of babies every few months.
Hey, it's quantity over quality, or quantity to get quality, I guess.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe they're on to something.
Survival of the fittest, truly. Kuatoa lived to be approximately 60 years old. Oh wait, I skipped the piece. Oh, I'm so sorry. They were not treated to adulthood. Oh no, I was right. Kuatoa lived to be approximately 60 years old. Oh, okay, when they got lucky. When Evil Boop wished it, a single Kuatoan egg would give rise to an exalted Kuatoa. Mentally and physically powerful gogglers who would quickly ascend to higher. Yeah, so how do I explain this? So gogglers were kuatoa that were smarter and more, more physically equipped than a normal kuatoa. And they were believed to have been blessed by Biblidipoop.
Biblidipoop?
Yeah. I'm going to go into all of this. Don't worry.
Okay, we trust you.
So, kuatoa were capable of interbreeding with humans to produce offspring physically similar enough to infiltrate human society. Offspring could also appear normal at birth, gradually take on kuatoa shape the more and more as they age. That's pretty interesting. So, I got a little bit here about like what their society structure is like. So, kuatoa societies were oppressive feudal theocracies ruled by Vai Pugol, which translated to priest king. and 9 Org Pulgupan, also known as priest dukes. The priest dukes formed a religious governing body known as the Sunken Council, which exercised complete control over the citizens' lives. Each council member dictated a different element of Kuotoan society, with dukes for fishing, trade, war, agriculture, mining, pilgrimage, sacred sites, slavery, and child rearing. While the king and the dukes theoretically held absolute authority over their subjects, the Kuotoan propensity for madness forced noble elites to forge alliances with others, other elites to mitigate infighting.
This is surprisingly structured.
Complex, right? Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
There's so much that I didn't even put in here, but like they have a true structure. This is just the top.
This is a fucking society right here.
So directly below the priest dukes were the Ba Pugol, priest princes who might rule over smaller cities. Some Kuotoan elites possessed concubines who were indolent members of the opposite gender.
Concubines, don't they like lay eggs and like do their thing on it later?
They probably fuck for pleasure.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So they would consider the lazy, the ones that didn't work, stuff like that. They would be the concubines.
You're lazy. Don't you know what?
That's what they're look, man.
If you want to spend all your time sitting on your ass, the least you can do is fuck.
You don't want to work? That's cool. You're gonna get worked.
Hell of a unemployment package there.
I'm sorry.
The Kuo-toa have single-handedly solved socialism.
So to explain a little bit, like you got a bit of their structure. To explain their god, right? Bibble de Boop was the patron goddess of the Kuo-toa, a paranoid, reality-denying deity of the sea of questionable sanity. The supposedly ancient sea mother viewed the Kuo-toa as her children, though she herself might have been nonsensical spawn of her fanatical followers' madness-fueled imaginings. So basically saying that they probably created her.
Which came first, the Kuo-toa or their god?
Exactly. So the neutral evil intermediate deity was described as a 15-foot tall, 4.6 meters, nude human female with a lobster's head and claws. Other depictions portrayed a crayfish head and claws and an articulated shell covering her shoulders. Those forced to look deeply into her eyes at close range could be driven to insanity. So there is a whole lot of, themes around the madness of the Kuo-toa and how natural it is for them, and that they have to be kept in check, or like it'll spread like a disease. And like I'll get into that too, and it's just interesting.
I feel like that's a big chunk of the Lovecraft lore right there. Is like what is it, the Shadow over Innsmouth, where it's just like fish people, like every generation is just a little more fishy in more ways than one, and it's just like that uncanny valley kind of time.
People who get what's it called? They like stare off, and they get like, they get that stare and they just kind of look into the shadows and they go slowly.
One eye just goes off.
Yeah. And it talks about people like slowly losing their mind. And stuff. Yeah, exactly like that. So the Kuo-toa societies were almost all based around the worship of Biblidoop. While earlier reports described her as an ancient eldritch deity, most more recent ones believe her to be a figment of the goggler's imaginations of a divine form. Either way, the diligence of Biblidoop whips made her to be a dominant deity among all other Kuo-toa and the focus of the Kuo-toa's lives. She even created her own chosen out of gifted whips and monitors, monsters known as the Kuo-toa Leviathans. So the ruling archpriest of a Kuo-toa community decided which gods the lower Kuo-toa had to exclusively worship, some of which were imagined by the priests themselves. Kuo-toa might also revere krakens, abelisks, morcos, beholders, I believe, and other eldritch kind of fuckeries. They just kind of loved all things fucked up and crazy.
So
I think that's the crazy part, is just whatever they imagine and collectively sort of worship just gets power. So it's almost like that Warhammer 40K chaos kind of thing, just segmented into a campaign sized chunk. It's like, okay, this is, we're in a village on the coast. Something weird's going on.
Right.
Something fishy.
Some other Kuo-toa tribes also apparently engaged in demon worship, venerating such beings as the Demogorgon and Dagon. Demogorgon's Kuo-toan followers exulted in mindless acts of violence and tried to appeal to him so that he would aid them in the restoration of their empire.
I mean, there's a lot that you can do with that. I mean, the concept that you could take a tribe of Kuo-toa, convince them that Jack the Ripper is a deity, and then next thing you know, Jack's going on a killing spree.
Yeah, there's a fucking demon with like Wolverine claws going ham in the town. Like, what the
Get
hell?
into some player antics there, and get the Kuo-toa to worship your party, and then suddenly you're a pantheon.
Right. Suddenly your dreams are being haunted by Kuo-toan songs. Like, man.
I always like to imagine that if I had a bunch of players that would try to do something like that, it would go awry in the sense that the Kuo-toa would, like, although they would see them, they would create their own interpretation of them. So you end up with like these completely evil, fucked up eldritch duplicates of the party.
You end up with, like, what are they called? Like the you know how DC has like the opposite Superman.
Oh, you mean like Bizarro?
Bizarro, yeah.
I know. It makes me think of. I just my mind instantly goes to that episode of Power Rangers where they had to fight the Psycho Rangers. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
you got the Water Temple too. You got Legend of Zelda. I think that was the Water Temple with Shadow Link. Same idea.
Right. And then when you get into the ones that, you know, worship like Dagon and stuff like that, they believe themselves to be the primal race. You know, I don't know if they mean the primal race of Kuo-toa, or, you know, they were the first, and they believe that Dagon would one day return to flood the land of the surface worlders. They would also spread his faith to humanoids, small bands of their cult infiltrating desperate, ignorant coastal towns. Allegiance was rewarded with gold and fine fishing, and resistance punished with genocidal raids.
With genocidal rage.
Raids. Yeah, they're raiding villages.
That's Innsmouth right there. Yeah.
So I can go ahead and get into their abilities and stats here. Their stats aren't that impressive, you know, but it is power of the tribe, you know. We got a strength of 13, dexterity of 10, constitution of 11, intelligence of 11, wisdom of 10, and charisma of 8. Proficient with spears, nets, hooks, you know, the like.
Okay, so they're like they're about the same as a strong fisherman.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty standard. You know, the psychic damage inflicted by the illithids rendered the Kuo-toa mad, but had another unintended side effect. In their insane state, the Kuo-toa invented gods of their own to protect themselves from the threats they constantly faced. The subconscious energy of belief of enough Kuo-toa simultaneously was actually capable of causing the entity to manifest in reality. Everyone knows this. You know, we talk about Kuo-toa all the time. This is their, like, iconic, their create entity, you know.
It is their bread and butter and what they are known for.
Yep. This subconscious power allowed the Kuo-toa to draw power from their own belief in said entity, giving them access to a kind of divine power. The more powerful the goggler's belief, the greater their abilities. And with some individual priests being capable of causing supernatural events, 2 priests working in concert could achieve effects like creating blasts of lightning. A dangerous ability the Kuo-toa possessed was the contagious nature of their madness. Possibly owing to their mental abilities or simply their weak wills, the initial break of a Kuo-toa's mind had a 10% chance of causing the gogglers around them to suffer from similar episodes. Even though madness contracted this way was confined to temporary breaks, and anyone but the first victim, this was still a very dangerous phenomenon. If not culled or detained quickly, the madness could swiftly infest the entire community, sending it spiraling into chaos. Interesting.
Damn.
Yep.
So it's dominoes with these things.
Yeah. They're loud. Look at Steve over there freaking the fuck out. Get him out of here.
That's a whole lot of chaos. Like, I guess if a DM really just wants to have a field day fucking with their players, Kuotoa are kind of like the A team in that regard.
You could really, like, they could be a nuisance to oh god, there's a tribe of Kuotoa coming in. Like, and they brought some weird fucked up god. Like, yeah. And then, last but not least, get over their like little abilities here. Got amphibious, can breathe water and air, otherworldly perception. They can sense the presence of any creature within 30 feet of it that is invisible or on the ethereal plane, and can like perfect pinpoint too, whether you're moving or not. Advantage on ability checks and saving throws made to escape a grapple, and sensitivity to sunlight. Translating as a disadvantage on perception checks in the daylight.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's about it for Kuotoa. I don't want to go too crazy, but
I mean, when it comes to Kuotoa, they're pretty self-explanatory. Where this DMing style is go crazy.
Yeah, this is truly like your imagination. Like, they could have seen a bird one day and be like, "Oh, I wish I had wings," and everybody be like, "Oh, me too." And then suddenly there's a Kuotoa with fucking griffin wings going off. Like,
hey, that's a good adventure hook right there. You can get the party pretty well with that.
You're like, this tribe is sending random creatures at this village.
I think the fun thing is, I don't know where I read it. It might have been like a 3.5 book or something, but I remember reading a thing about Kuotoa years ago where their god creations start out small and progressively
the power of belief,
through the power of belief, they get bigger and bigger, and as they do, their CR slowly escalates.
Mm-hmm. And it even in some cases, like, say they create a small level being, they give it a test. You go infiltrate this village, cause some damage. Maybe it goes off, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" Suddenly, it jumps up 10 CRs. Now it's a threat.
I mean, that's one of those things you could put that in your game as like a sort of plot hook early on, like level 2, level 3 guys, and be like, "Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on at the fishing village." They completely blow it off and go
right, yeah, because
hunt down market deals. A couple levels later, it's like, oh, another fishing village. Something weird's going on. The whole coast is going dark here. I don't know what's going on, and then like just slowly ramp it up there as the game goes on.
And like you can really imagine, like, they're left alone for a while and they're just like allowed to make things, they could get out of control quickly.
Oh yeah, it seems like they could definitely snowball. And I think that as a DM, that might be the best way to handle it. I mean, create rumors of things happening, just keep them small. Maybe the players just gloss over it. Maybe things are so insignificant that they just ignore things.
Maybe some other hunters killed a weird creature the other week. They didn't think anything of it. Now there's another one, odd. Whatever. Weird creatures all the time.
Yeah. Like, have it grow in the background. And if you do things in the right way, I suppose it could be an overarching thing where they do create the big bad for your campaign.
Yeah. Because, players often forget that, like, they're doing stuff in the world, but the world exists around you. The NPCs are probably going to talk about you. Creatures and monsters are going to hear of you. The Kuotoa hears, like we were just talking about this, the Bizarro, they hear about some strong warriors going around fighting dragons. All they need is a vague description.
Oh yeah, this skeletal angel man swooped down and he slaughtered all these bandits and saved my baby. And then he summoned a snake out of nowhere. And it was like on his arm, and they're like, whoa. a death angel man swooped in, killed an entire city,
Mhm.
and he has snakes for arms.
You ever
Holy
play
shit!
telephone? What was just a
Celestial
guy
Phone.
is now a walking dragon.
I like
I love
that.
it.
It's a
I love it.
great concept.
So, in the style as we normally do, Orion, you think you could take a Kuotoa
I,
straight up 1v1?
you know what? They got the same stats as a typical human. I could totally take a Kuotoa in a fight.
They're pretty short. They got a bite attack, or maybe whatever.
Oh yeah, the little nippy nippy.
Hey, they could be mostly teeth. I imagine that head's got to be pretty big. I think I could take a fingerling. I'll take one of the little ones when they're
How would you fight a fingerling? Like
About
Deep
3 feet
fry.
tall.
deep
That
fry. Let this man cook.
Punt them.
Was it
No.
those Futurama? They had something like that where they're eating they're deep frying the.
The poplars.
That's it.
You know, the babies.
Just start deep frying them and just export them, and then boom! Suddenly
man.
your campaign just went off the rails.
Yep. Suddenly you sell, a cart full of Kuotoa bodies to a fisher village, and
There you go.
I mean, if it weren't for their strength, I would just think that it'd be no different than how many fifth graders can you take in a fight? You know what I mean?
I mean, basically, yeah, they're not probably about as smart.
That's
until you start dealing with the better versions, the gopplers or whatever, I'm not too impressed by a normal Kuotoa. But until get to the ones that start doing magic and get strong, no, thank you.
I'd imagine I could go for some shenanigans,
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm cool. Check this out.
Yeah, well, they're busy creating a god because I just went and removed my thumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Never see it coming.
Now, hold up. I know you want to kill me. Check this out. Another worldly kind of magic.
No spells or anything.
No components.
Some kind of innate magic.
He doesn't even have a wand.
Oh, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the Kuotoa discussion.
I think I'm probably grossly underestimating the Kuotoa. I'd give them a 3 out of 10 if in a fight, if it's just one.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. You're probably never going to get just one.
How many Kuotoa do you think you could take in a fight?
I don't know. I have a lot of unresolved anger issues.
Give me like 3.
I don't know. If I got a good weapon going for me at the start of this fight, I might do pretty well. If I got my bow, okay, I can probably take out 3 of them. If I got a sword, then probably more.
Kuotoas can be outfitted for any party level, really. Give them, trashy spears for a level 1. They got netted hooks for level 5s. They got magic.
They know how to fish. They can just do all kinds of stuff.
Right.
I would imagine nets would be like their big tactic. Just net everything.
They have those like the poles with like the hooks on them. I don't know what they're called.
What is that? The gaff hooks. That's the one they got for fishing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched. What is it? Deadliest Catch. I'm an expert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have you seen Deadliest Catch? No.
those guys. If anybody's seen Kuotoa, the Deadliest Catch guys, they're up there. They're up there imagining their own deities.
They could take many Kuotoa on.
Oh yeah.
Now that's a movie worth seeing, actually.
They probably do. I would imagine people who live in like oil rigs and shit, they're like ringing the bells. They're like, oh, the Kuotoa return.
Kuotoa bell, yeah.
I'm in the ship.
They've got an old-timey church on top of the oil rig, and they run up there, and they're ringing the bell.
The Kuotoa!
I like the sound of that. D&D 2 Kuotoa Boogaloo. I'm down.
If D&D is so cool, where's D&D 2?
I think one of the actors was like, "Hey, dude, I'm not saying that there's going to be a D&D 2, but there's probably going to be a D&D 2."
I probably will.
I mean, they did a little better than breaking even, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean they did pretty decent considering people were protesting their movie actively.
True.
Like
People
if
protest everything though. It's fine.
yeah. I mean, honestly, nowadays protests are it's kind of like being French. If you're not having a revolt in your country and you're French, you're not you're not French. You got to have a revolution every few years.
Viva la revolution.
Always.
Sometimes the revolution should have Kuatoa involved.
Hey, maybe they would succeed.
I'm just imagining a bunch of working class Kuatoa with these safety vests and hard hats.
Like, this is another scenario because like Kuatoas are often slaves, right? They're a slave race to a lot of other races. Kuatoan Prison Break would go crazy.
If you got the character sheets for Kuatoa, I think if you got the template for players to roll up Kuatoa, you could get some good one shots out of that. I don't know about a full campaign, but you get a Kuatoa one shot, and you get a persuasive party. You get like an eloquence bard or something in there, and then suddenly you're creating your own religion in this one shot. Just going Kuatoa village to Kuatoa village.
You know how they have like the rat kings and stuff like that?
Yes.
Kuatoa king.
I love it. This is the one shot we need because, like you said, for a one shot, this is fantastic. For a campaign, it's going to break within 5 sessions. It falls apart almost immediately, but damn if it's not a blaze of glory.
Now you have like the countries of the world banding together to combat these Kuatoa.
I mean, you do like a time jump one shot where it's like, okay, you start at level 1, play a second session at level 10, and then you're level 20 Kuatoa who have the whole Kuatoa nation at your back.
Oh man,
you're taking down empires. That's
10 years I've trained my people.
Your level ups just skip entire levels. I like the idea of that because like that's an advanced milestone system that would work for them.
That would be crazy.
It's just like boom, you've Kuatoa'd your first city. You're level 15 now.
So I would love to play a campaign from the perspective of like the enemy, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Like I think a lot of people probably did that in the early days of D&D where it's just like you couldn't normally play as the monsters. Like my dad and his buddies, they would be like, "Okay, let's homebrew a thing up and we can play kobolds or play as goblins." Yeah, we'll have to work things around and make our own thing and whatever. And
I mean, yeah. I think the way you got to do it is this takes a whole bunch of DM prep work and like real dedication to it. But you've got to start it off as like, okay, I'm not really describing you guys that you're the monsters. You're not the bad guys. But like just describe the world as like we're the only civilization left and play it like a reverse sort of zombie thing. And then like there's these huge concentrations of the bad guys, and then like halfway through the campaign it's like the light bulb moment and they're like, oh shit, the bad guys are just humans, like those are cities. And like you're playing the little guy who's just trying to like survive escaping these guys. Right. I think that's the way you gotta do it.
You describe humans as just these massive, grotesque skin flesh creatures with gangly hair.
In the forest you live in.
Not slimy at all. They live completely. They live their whole lives out of water. They're monsters.
I love it. Someone make a campaign like this. I'm down.
I mean, the Lovecraft stuff. You got campaigns for days.
Call of Cthulhu is a good one. I want to run that one so bad someday.
One day. I've been wanting to, but it's just.
Oh man, I could probably do it on Foundry.
Actually, yeah, you absolutely can. There is some modules for that. I was looking into it.
I know there is the the Candela Obscura stuff is kind of from the same kind of vibe. I'm thinking about that. That's possible. Maybe in the future, run
Why?
a more investigative kind of campaign.
Well, that could be fun. I'd like to see that.
I would probably do a Call of Cthulhu personally, but
All right. So, Sam, I did bring in a Describify this week. I know it's been a few weeks.
nice.
And I feel like it's a small word that you don't hear often. Some people don't even know what it actually means. I didn't until today. And
that's the point.
Zounds.
Excuse me?
Yeah, this zounds. It's such a dumb word, but like I feel like it adequately describes the fuckery reaction that a fisherman might have to like dealing with all this
Sounds like a
Kuatoa
shit term.
Well,
Zounds, man.
So TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy zounds. What does this mean?
It's a way of expressing surprise, indignation, or anger. It's like,
Oh,
zounds!
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
The comic book speech bubble sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I used to see it all the time as a kid, but it's like I've never heard someone
Is this
actively
like,
use it. So I
Is it
feel
like
like
a regional dialect thing?
it very well might be. It says there's really not much to it outside of it just being just this weird little sound of surprise.
Like country of origin.
It's definitely English.
I don't know. There's a Z in there. It might be German.
Maybe. But it's weird because like I look for some of the stuff on the Google and it's giving me stuff for the band Zounds, which is a band right out of the UK. I'm like, okay, well, that kind of skews any definitions I'm getting now beyond that. But I feel like it'd be a fun way to kind of spice up certain characters that you have meet a party. Just like if you want to make a character sound a little different, and like something to stick out to a party, like just throw out a weird word like zounds. Oh no, who dropped? There we go.
There we go. I feel like I have to sneeze. Oh, sorry about that.
That was strange.
Yeah, I went and looked it up. I don't know if you heard me. Uses a mild oath. 1592, huh?
Yeah, it's an old word.
Came over with the Kuatoa.
It must have.
Interjection uses a mild oath to express surprise, indignation, or disbelief. It is a variant of swoons, which means God's wounds. Oh, okay.
Really? That's
Oh, here we go. Zounds are an English anarcho-punk post-band from Reading, Berkshire. There's a Zounds band formed in 1977.
Anarcho-punk sounds... that sounds wild.
Dude, releasing material on the Fuck Off Records label. We're also involved in the squatting and free festival scene. Interesting.
That's just... I don't even know where to begin on that.
There's also a Zounds hearing in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
To be fair, there is everything in New Jersey.
Yeah,
It's true.
what is it, like a hearing place? Like a hearing aid? Shout out to Zounds Hearing. You know, if anyone needs hearing aids or
Yes. Zounds Hearing, if you want to sponsor the show.
Wouldn't that be something?
We can't get Zounds Hearing, but we have the next best thing for a sponsor, Sam.
News?
Listen up, you miserable lot. If you're looking for a tavern that'll put hair on your chest, then get your sorry hides
that a
over to
wrong
Riker's Ale House, the meanest, toughest, and rowdiest joint this side of the mountain. Who am I, you ask? I'm Riker, the Orc of Thunder, the Bruiser of Brews, the Conqueror of Kegs, and this is my house of mayhem. We've got ale, we've got in beer, barrels. If you ain't had our ale, you ain't tasted the true nectar of the gods. It'll make you roar louder than Eddie Dragon and hit harder than a hill giant. Hungry? We've got meat on the bone. Juicy, tender, and cooked over an open flame. If it doesn't make
That
your
line
tusks
gets me
tingle,
every time.
it's not worth
I'm so
eating.
confused.
We've got brawls. We've got arm wrestling. We've got tales of glory and gore.
I'm sorry.
I hope the listeners can at least hear whatever sounds you're playing.
Oh, what? Really? You couldn't hear that?
Yeah,
No, we didn't get it.
yeah, no.
Oh. I was enjoying myself. I was thinking.
That's why I was deeply confused.
Oh, well, you know what?
Whistle.
Fuck. You know what? Now I look like a fucking idiot. Can you at least
Got
hear,
him.
Can you hear this? This is TNL bringing you Nerd News. Did you hear that one?
I didn't.
Nope.
Oh, what?
The Kuatoa are conspiring against us.
Kuatoa
laid the
don't
seeds
like
of
me.
madness into his brain.
I am just confused.
While he's doing that, are you familiar with the Game Awards that went on this past few days?
I know Baldur's Gate cleaned up.
Hell
didn't
yeah,
see it,
dude. Shout out to Baldur's Gate and all the awards and accolades they got. I didn't watch it, but I did, check out the some of the highlights and stuff like that. I had
didn't
a
watch
few
it, but I have
things
seen
to comment on.
some headlines.
Yeah. So like Baldur's Gate, Marvel Spider-Man got Game of the Year. Let's see what else here. Spider-Man, Baldur's Gate got Best Game Direction. Also Zelda, but I don't care about that. We got The Last of Us, Gran Turismo, Castlevania got Best Adaptation. Baldur's Gate, Final Fantasy, Cyberpunk, and Spider-Man got Best Narrative. All
Okay.
kinds of stuff. Yo, shout out to Lies of P with the Best Art Direction. Hell yeah.
Okay, Sam, I figured out what it was.
Oh yeah.
This is TNL bringing you Nerd News. There.
Hell yeah. But yeah, shout out to all those things. And if you guys, watched it last night, I don't know if it was last night or the day before, but if you guys watched it, there was a lot of cool stuff that they showed and revealed, like the new Monster Hunter. I'm kind of hyped for that.
There's a lot of stuff being shown off at the end of the year right here.
Yeah, the God of War Valhalla stuff. We got OD with the Jordan Peele game, Blade. It's gonna be a crazy year, 2024.
Dude,
Also,
I heard about the Blade thing, and then I saw a little bit of the trailer where they open up with a barber trying not to mess up his fade. And I'm just like, all right.
Look,
dude.
that's the first thing. You gotta get it right. All right. But look, I don't know if you saw the video from the voice of Kratos, the God of War guy, talking about the Call of Duty campaign. He was throwing shade, and it was hilarious.
I mean, how else do you get attention in this day and age?
Man.
We need to learn to start throwing shade if we want to, we're too damn nice, Sam. We got to stop being nice.
All right, you know what? Tabletop got some beef with you. I've had enough.
Yeah, tell every guest that your mom smells bad and she dresses you funny.
Yeah, stop being stinky.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to all that stuff. I thought that was really cool. It's good to see, some new games, some new stuff,
Well, speaking of some new stuff, there is some news that we read over here on Dicebreaker. So they had a release date for the D&D books for 2024, and they announced it and everything. And then they're like, oh shit, we got it all wrong. Nope.
Rip.
What? See, slipping in another fail before the year ends. It's been a wild year for them.
Yeah, they're trying their best.
I feel like this kind of fuckery could only be caused by the unadulterated pressure of a nagging Hasbro.
It's gotta be something like that.
Because like WotC, they were doing fine for a while, for years, like, and then it's just.
Christmas is a difficult time for all companies.
I mean, are they expecting a bunch of new DMs in Christmas time? Like, what you want, Hasbro?
Probably. I mean, they hope at least.
I mean, all over Reddit, I always see people like post things where it's just a big old stack of starter sets, and like, I'm donating this to the toy drive. I certainly hope those kids can read.
May just be WotC donating those themselves and posting them on
They're flooding the market.
That's brilliant.
hooking them.
That's some marketing. Aside from that, when 2024 books are released for WotC, we can expect one of them to include a face-off with Vecna. So, haven't seen any Vecna stuff from Wizards in years. It's been like Vecna's like one of the most legendary liches in the game.
Didn't they do something recently for
Stranger
the Stranger Things stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, but that might be the only reason they're bringing Vecna back. I mean,
yeah, probably.
Because
hey, the brand recognition is important. If you can get more people to say, what the hell? If you can get people to Google Vecna, then boom, you're right at D&D.
Yeah. I mean, Stranger Things already brought so much stuff. They're just kind of trying to keep it going. People are losing interest in Stranger Things, even the actors and stuff.
Well, they're only good for one more season.
Years old now.
Yeah, bro. They're like, look, we've been doing this show for 10 years. We want to move on.
Yeah. And I totally get it. It's just one of those things
Netflix
where the last couple seasons, a little weird. I enjoyed it because the last season brought us Eddie. And like, dude, Eddie is the epitome.
A lot of good merchandise off that one.
For Eddie.
Oh, for sure.
Good for what is it? Who sings that song? Kate Hill. No, what the hell's the name? Running Up That Hill.
Yes, that one got big. The real gem to come out of that whole season, though, was that final stand with Eddie playing, just shredding on guitar.
So good.
It's just like, dude, you're in another world. It's basically a hellscape.
He was like, I'm gonna die. I'm going down like this.
Man single-handedly secured one of the top 5 deaths in human history right there.
Straight up. Oh my god, iconic.
No, he's coming back next season.
The masculine urge to go out in a blaze of glory.
It really does be like that sometimes. Yeah. They're really hoping to cash in on the Vecna thing, and OBS says it disconnected, then reconnected. Okay, reconnection successful.
Hey guys, I hate to jump midstream, but I gotta hit the road. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. And I mean, hey, if you're looking for a tabletop, give us a call.
Of course,
absolutely.
Thanks for coming. It was great to have you.
Thanks for coming on. And you know what? Going to be spreading the word on that VTT. Already got links in the description, so plug in that. And you're welcome to come back anytime.
I appreciate it. And yeah, check out the sandbox. You can go right in there, drop some tokens, drop some maps, play a game. If it's not easier, you can call me back and tell me I was wrong.
Now that's a slogan. I love it. If it's not easier, call us. We'll make it easy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you guys take care.
Thanks for coming. It was great to have you.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
All right.
Not too bad. We're coming up towards the end here anyway.
Oh no, I went and I screwed up our thing.
Did you?
Yeah. It's because when he left the call, it just it messed with the thing. But that's okay. I can fix that.
All right. Yeah, I believe we are coming up towards the end anyway. If you're finished with the news, we can go ahead and move into our homebrew.
Yeah, let me just fix that. Woohoo. And fix yours. It's not often that we have someone leave early, but it's okay.
It happens. Yeah. It's all good.
What a great guest. I love that he's working on this whole VTT, because like we really need more of those
Yes.
out there.
Honestly.
All right, Sam, do you want to start the homebrew off, or should I?
Sure, I'll go ahead.
Oh.
Generic realm, lots of fun, excellent.
It's always fun in the generic realm.
Generic realms. Shout out to the Fluffy Folio on Reddit here for creating the bookworm, the tiny monstrosity that I will be talking about today.
Oh yeah.
I believe I've talked about some things from the Fluffy Folio before.
You have. Let me just readjust some of this, because like there we go.
Yeah,
Wasn't getting the whole
problem.
picture there. Good.
I think it's really cool. I really like it. It's so cute. So this peculiar critter is the smallest yet most cunning representative of the highly venomous worm genus. With its remarkable ability to perfectly imitate a sheet of paper, it secretly roams wherever books are present, from the dust-ridden library of an ancient civilization to the buzzing bookshop selling heavy tomes and fantastic scrolls. Being able to remain motionless over extended periods of time is not uncommon for this whimsical creature to be utilized for a hasty note, a secret message, or a cheesy poem of love, completely unnoticed by the unwary author.
That is something else.
Yeah, I like it. And they do have a little ability here called living scripts. Bookworms can live up to several centuries. The oldest ones are often covered in countless hieroglyphs, potentially bearing the knowledge from long forgotten times. Now, they are a fairly simple creature here.
That's cool.
We have a strength of 1, dexterity of 18, constitution of 10, intelligence of 5, wisdom of 18, and charisma of 4. With the ability to understand one language but being unable to speak. So I wonder if you could probably speak telepathically, or give it commands and stuff like that.
Well, they're wise and intelligent, I would imagine.
Yeah. So we have these special traits here. Marked for death. As long as a creature has at least 1 poison mark, it is poisoned and must make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw each hour, taking 2d4 poison damage on a failed save, half as much damage on a success. Also, on a success, the target loses 1 poison mark. Poison mark can be removed by the protection from poison spell or similar magic. A creature with 6 or more poison marks falls prone at the end of each of its turns. Okay, that's pretty cool.
That is, I like
Next,
that.
we have Paper Shaper. As a bonus action, the bookworm can fold or unfold its body. While the bookworm is folded and remains motionless, it is indistinguishable from a normal sheet of paper. All right, cool. And then last but not least, we have a normal attack action, dealing the poison damage and applying one of the poison marks. I like it. No poisons. Little paper snake.
Yeah, I like it. That's cute. And
I think this is something that could be just kind of like a fun. Maybe your players go to a shop, they buy some scrolls. Oh, one of them is alive.
honestly, it's one of those things that turns into a mundane encounter, and sometimes just mundane shenanigans can make a game, you know?
Right. Or, who knows? Maybe somebody's like, oh, don't kill this. It's kind of cool.
Maybe they have like a shopkeep that has an infestation.
Oh, God. The party has to come and get rid of them? Or figure out which ones are which? Oh,
you gotta get the exterminators.
Right. Because shopkeeper can't tell.
Yeah. These things
He finds one, he has to assume there's more.
Yeah, maybe they're breeding.
They're slowly replacing all of his books.
They're taking over the history section.
I like it. You could even have like personalities based on like what kind of book or whatever they are. I could like that.
Dude, stay away from the ones that read in the political section.
Oh my God.
They're insufferable.
Not the erotica books.
Not the hentai.
Oh no. What's it called? The lusty Argonian.
Yeah, the lusty Argonian maid.
Oh man. Yeah, I
Uh,
like this. I give it an 8. Just kind of like for fun little thing. An
I
easy
do
way to create a new pet or
I do
companion for
enjoy
you.
fun little things. In the spirit of fun little things, I present to you
Ah.
Pets and Animals Leveling Rules.
Ooh. Is this similar to the one in like Stibbles?
Uh, very much so. This
Nice.
is actually like a. Let me see here. Yeah, this is from Johnny DM, and
Mm.
as you can see on the little leveling table, there's like 10 levels, so nothing too much. And this can be applied to any pet that the party gets, right?
Okay.
So, the XP goes up to 4,000. And in order
Okay.
to get XP for your pet, there's actually an alternative way of leveling,
Ah.
which is explained in the PDF. And anyone that really wants to check this out or apply it to their campaign, over on let me look at my see if I can
Oh, so for
check.
something like a rogue's companion.
Yeah, drive through
kind of-
DM. Yeah,
I
so
think
it's
so.
over on drive through DM. Yeah, the drive through RPG for 375. So pretty cheap if anyone wants to check that out. But you're able to, like, every time it levels up, more HP, can get a special pet special feat, a bonus to their skills or attacks or damage rolls or to their AC or saving throws. Like every level, your pet gets better, like tangibly better and more survivable with its stats, which is one of the biggest issues with having pets in D&D.
Mhm.
I don't want my pet to die, you know?
Yeah, you don't want them to be too strong, but you want them to keep up with your party. Like retain their
Exactly.
usefulness is the hardest way to manage.
Now, the way
And
this
they'll
is
make them.
built, it's very good for downtime activities.
Mm.
Right here, where it says pet activities, we have playtime, feeding and meal prep, cuddle and affection,
Oh yeah.
outdoor
Those-
exploration. Now, some of these things are like, players are going to be RPing this stuff anyway if they really like the pet.
Right.
Others are like weekly activities that could come into play just by simply adventuring. So, regardless of what you're doing, you're going to be leveling up this thing
Mhm.
pretty quickly.
And I can imagine, for the more, I mean, even without them being like combat pets, even the ones that have some type of utility to the party, I could see that aiding towards their leveling as well.
Yeah, like an outdoor adventure would be one of the weekly activities, for example, which will get you 20 XP.
Hmm.
Take your pet on an outdoor adventure, explore new environments, enjoy nature.
Right.
Yoga or stretching for 30 minutes can get you 10 XP. Learning new tricks can get you 15 XP. An evening stroll, 5 XP. Interacting and feeding, 5 XP. Nature observation, mindful meditation, story time with the pet. You could tell your dog a story and
I
it
love
gets
that.
XP to level up.
Yeah, I mean, I would entice people to, just role play more in general too.
Yeah,
You tell a story to your party while they're sitting down for a long rest. Boom, there you go.
yeah. I mean, you get 2 daily bonding activities to get some XP and 1 weekly bonding activity, up to 2 per
Alright.
week. So, theoretically, let's say you're going on a typical 7-day week, you could get about 10 to 15 XP daily, in addition to the 10 to 15 that you can get for 2 weekly more like a 20 to 30 XP you can get for weekly activities.
Mhm.
So already you'll level up to your first level within a week.
Yeah.
So if you keep that up on a weekly basis, you'll be within 2 weeks, you're level 2.
Mm.
2.5 weeks, you'll be level 3. And
Right.
a few more weeks, like after that, you'll probably get around level 4. And it does climb higher and higher as you level up, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that this is factoring in, combat XP as well. You know?
Well, actually, no. This is completely separate from combat XP.
Oh, completely separate. Okay.
Yeah, because it caps out at 4K XP.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, within a week, you can easily reach the level 1 preset, which is just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you start with a pet, it's level 0, theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
You need love and affection for it to get these special pet feats and stuff.
Right. I mean, I would also want to. I mean, maybe me personally, like if it survives its first fight, give it the combat XP. You know what I mean? Or if it does something significant during the fight, give it a little bit of a cut.
Well, I think that's where some of the adventuring and stuff comes in. But
That's
there's also monthly special activities, which
Mm,
up to 2 of those can give you 100 XP.
okay.
So
Nice.
within a month, you can in game in a month. Let's see, that's 200 plus about 600. So yeah, you could get about 1,000 XP within 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
And 1,000 XP gets you to level 6.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that's reasonably balanced. And a lot of these things are just simple RP, or you're just casually doing things.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd imagine you're probably getting maybe 2 to 3 levels on your pet for every player level or so.
Yeah. And not every pet is combat based, so this can be
Yeah,
pretty good.
definitely.
And like the outdoor adventure right here. Have an extensive outdoor adventure day, exploring new terrain, providing for your pet with a thrilling experience. Adventurers are inherently out there doing shit. So like some
Mhm.
of this XP is just passive.
Yeah. Right. You go hunt down a goblin nest, boom, you're adventuring with your pet.
Exactly. But that's
I like it.
mine for the week. I keep trying to do this thing there.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like pets are something that are very underutilized. So like when Stibbles came out, that called out to me and I was like, oh, I gotta get this book. This is so cool.
For sure. I like it.
I love companions, I love pets.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows what I was doing earlier when I was going all schizo with my
Oh
soundboard
yeah,
here.
you were being a weirdo.
Yeah.
Listen up, you miserable lot. If you're looking for a tavern that'll put hair on your chest, then get your sorry hides over to Riker's Ale House, the meanest, toughest, and rowdiest joint this side of the mountain. Who am I, you ask? I'm Riker, the Orc of Thunder, the Bruiser of Brews, the Conqueror of Kegs, and this is my house of mayhem. We've got ale, we've got it in barrels. If you ain't had our ale, you ain't tasted the true nectar of the gods. It'll make you roar louder than Eddie Dragon and hit harder than a hill giant. Hungry? We've got meat on the bone. Juicy, tender, and cooked over an open flame. If it doesn't make your tusk tingle, it's not worth eating. We've got brawls. We've got arm wrestling. We've got tales of glory and gore. The best fights and stories happen here at Riker's. Challenge me, Riker, if you dare. But be warned, I don't hold back. Orcs, dwarves, humans, and elves. We don't discriminate here. If you've got a thirst for adventure and a stomach for a hearty meal, Riker's Ale House is your battlefield. The walls echo with tales of the mighty and the fallen. Every War Chief's Day, we've got a special on our famous Orc's Blood Brew. A concoction so strong, it'll put hair on your warts. So grab your axes, your mugs, and your battle cries, and come to Riker's Ale House, where the ale flows like a waterfall, and the fights are fiercer than dragon's breath. Riker's Ale House, for the true warriors among us. Be there or be a goblin snack.
That sounds cool. I want to go. Hold on.
I'm going to Rikers, man.
Yeah, that's probably where we go after the show tonight. Go grab a drink, come on.
Dude, if it don't make your tusk tingle.
Woo, man.
I don't know. Meat on the bone right there. That line gets me every time.
Yeah, I heard Riker got the siren barmaids. Whew.
Yeah, the sexy ones. Like, even the fat siren barmaids are all right.
I'm dead. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode and that, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, we can't always control
Um,
our sponsors, but you know, when they got the coin,
Take what you can get, man. Honestly. Shout out to Riker. Thank you for the
all the support. You know that's how I got this right here, this whole little stein here.
Exactly. Oh man. Do we have anything else for today's episode?
Honestly, it's been a pretty small episode, I would say.
Yeah, pretty light week. I mean, with the exception of like the game rewards and stuff like that, you know. GTA 6, I believe, got announced. I don't care personally, but
Yo,
cool. 2 years for
my
that.
wife is hyped for that. She loves GTA, and the fact that she can play the game as a sassy Latina bitch, like she's down for that. I'm gonna walk
Yeah, a
into
lot
the
of people.
I'm gonna walk into the room. My wife's gonna be swearing in Spanish at the goddamn TV.
The camera's gonna be zoomed in as close as possible, just on her ass.
I mean, it's what they need to revitalize the GTA. I mean, flip the script. What's better than beating up your prostitute that you just paid for some shady business in GTA?
Running over everybody on a beach.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's where they lose me because the missions will be like, this one's like a Die Hard movie. And it's like, excuse me, I like blew up 18 bridges and like ran over everybody on the beach just to get here.
Yeah.
Why is this mission any different? I could go rob a bank in 10 minutes. Like, I'll just crash
Honestly.
my car into the front of it.
Honestly, they get too deep into their own RP with their story. They're like, dude,
Yeah.
it's a
I miss
it's a
the
murder
days of
simulator.
San Andreas. My young mind was yet to be tainted by the throes of mindless violence.
Speaking of mindless violence, Sam, I don't know if I mentioned it on the show previously, but I'm going to be producing a audiobook, which we will be doing a giveaway on the show soon. Well,
which one is it this time?
Come May or so, when after it fully releases, I'll be able to give away some promo codes because as a producer, I will get a bunch of free promo codes. So we'll do a giveaway right here on the show. Now, the name of the book is Vampocalypse. Yeah, I told you about it before. It's a vampire apocalypse, post-apocalyptic, but instead of zombies taking over, it's vampires.
It's always like a what's it called? Dusk Till Dawn? What's that movie called?
I don't know. Some people have told me that they've heard of something similar to this before. I maybe I have, but I really liked reading the main character's voice because like it's supposed to be a world where the sun's kind of blocked out. Everything's like dry and desolate. So he's got like kind of like a gravelly sandiness to his voice where it's just like, get this man some water.
I mean, I feel like I had some of my new favorite books come out recently. What was it called? I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. There's the Primal Hunter series just came out with their most recent one. You have the He Who Fights with Monsters came out with their new one recently. Helldivers Book 11 coming out soon. I'm excited.
Nice.
So good. This is a good year for books.
I'd say it's a fantastic
I hope
year.
I can get into doing audiobooks as well.
Yeah, I highly encourage it. People love your voice. We see that in the chat sometimes.
Oh, thank you. I made it myself.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe one day you guys will get a real voice reveal.
A voice reveal.
Yeah, exactly. You'll never know. You don't know me.
the Sam voice reveal. I am down for that. But like you said, it absolutely has been a great year for books. Kickstarters all over the place. And next week, we're going to be having Felix from Dingo Doodles on the show.
That's going to be a great episode. Hope you guys are looking forward to that.
Dude, I am excited to see Felix.
Oh, yeah. I'm not too sure what we're going to talk about quite yet, but it's going to be something cool, I know.
Dude, he is a cool DM. He's got that chaotic DM energy, and I'm about it. Like, when Dingo started posting her little D&D stories, the first one she started with is like, oh yeah, that time that I cast an anti-magic field and unleashed a Tarask from below a town. And it's just...
It'd be like that, man.
And Felix is just like ground zero DM dealing with this shit and putting it in the game like a 3.5 child like myself. Okay, let's go.
You know, kind of tempted to talk about Hydras.
Ooh. You know what? Hydras might be fun.
Hydras might be fun. I know we've talked about the outskirts of the dragon. We did dragon turtles, purple dragons. I haven't talked about Hydras quite yet. Before going into the the usual true dragon stuff, maybe time.
Yeah, you know what? And Felix said that he was looking forward to be a little surprised for the episode, so looking forward to that.
This is a good piece to go off about Greek mythology.
Honestly, you know me in Greek mythology. Name's Orion. I got to know my Greek.
Look, man, this is another reason for me to talk about Hades 2. Let's go!
Hades 2 Electric Boogaloo. But with that being said, everybody have a great weekend. We are Dungeons and Talk Shows. And Sam, where can everybody find us?
You can find us on Twitter /X, whatever it's called now. Find us on Facebook under the Nerd Militia. We're on Kick, Rumble, YouTube, all podcasts and apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
We had a little bit of success with BitChute too, apparently. Like we got some followers on there now.
Shout out to BitChute. I've never heard of you.
Well, there's always like that people that have never heard of YouTube, so they go to other places, I guess.
This is true. We're just getting our fingies out there,
But anyway, everyone have a great weekend.
Hope you learned something.
I know I didn't.